Sounding like, I think it sounded like
Alright, then yes, let's go with that. So let's plug it back in. Huh?
Okay, are you ready?
Start it now. Hold on, not yet.
Hello? There we go. So the last time we were in this room was probably during orientation for a lot of you, orientation registration, right? And during the orientation and registration, there's one bullet point on the whole prize, and then I usually go off and do about a 12 or 15-minute speech about how much I love the whole prize. So you can imagine how today feels. This is the kickoff of a great event. And certainly to see the number of people out here this morning, or this evening, I feel the same way. It's such a big event, I made a call and made sure that we had blue skies. We had the leaves changing. I wanted to make sure the backdrop was perfect for our first speaker. I really don't need to go into much of an introduction because he just came back from a 12-city tour. I think he's leaving tonight on probably another 12-city tour. And he's such a great ambassador for the whole prize and a great alumni to support the school that he agreed to stop in, make sure that we get a great kickoff to the whole prize on the Boston campus. We can't thank him enough. So following Ahmad's speech, Lindsay is going to do a bit of some 5-minute introduction about the whole prize, internal competition, the call for volunteers. If you're not competing, then definitely we need help to put this on, and we appreciate all the support we get from that. And then we have Mike Grandetti. Some of you probably have a class with Mike, and he'll talk a bit about the 5 things I wish I knew and what makes a good team. It's not always your friends. There's a little bit I learned that the hard way when I started the company with friends. And then afterwards, there'll be a bit of a networking event for people to start the process of finding people who you think are a good match for you and your vision and what you want to do to move forward with the whole prize. So without any further introduction, probably through the Hall of Fame for Hult. He would be probably one of the first people on it. So.
Alumni of the year, I'll take it. So.
Ahmad Ashkar, right?
How's everybody doing? Great. It's an absolute honor to be here with you. I speak, quite a bit now when you do something really cool, and a lot of people expect you to continue to just talk. But there's no better crowd for me than a crowd of Hult Business School students. So thank you for affording me the opportunity to speak with you today. It really is amazing how fast the time goes. It was just in 2009 that I was one floor below you that I had the idea for the whole prize. And it was such an unbelievable experience. And today, to be back here, have I done a primer over here? I have, okay. I don't think I've done one here in this particular room, so it's really exciting. I'm going to take you through a couple of things today. How much time do I have? Oh, I gotta go then, okay. No more BS, let's jump into the action. So about 3 years ago, or 2012, we were named one of the top 5 ideas changing the world. The reason I show you this one slide is to show you the opportunity that exists in businesses that service both the poor and make profit. And the key here is not to toot our own horn. Yes, congratulations, it was a great achievement for all people involved, but more so to show you that one idea generated in a very short period of time, coming right out of here in Boston, was able to make its way up onto time. And what I'm going to talk you through today is not only why social impact, social entrepreneurship is the right thing to do for humanity, but why it's also the right thing for you guys to do for business. It's a great opportunity, and it's a great sector, and it's one of the hottest sectors worldwide today. When we started in 2009, nobody even knew what the idea of social enterprise was. And I'll walk you through a little bit of my aha moment and what inspired me to start the whole prize and what I hope and see for the future of this sector. From my team, we have here Kareem, Kristen, Amanda, and some others who can provide for you after this event, hopefully, some technicalities about the sector, where it's going. We will not answer any questions on what is a great idea specifically. Happy to go in general, but we are independent, we want to be transparent, and there's events like this running right now. In fact, right across town, across the river, there's 2 other universities in Boston that are having their kickoffs tonight. So we've scaled Hult Prize to have very similar events like you guys are having here all over the world, okay? So how did it all start? My career started on Wall Street. A lot of people here, how many bankers or ex-bankers in the room? Just a handful. Kareem, raise your hand as well. So when I came to business school in 2009, when I asked that question, everybody raised their hand. I mean, 50% of the class was bankers. So the fallout of the financial crisis led me to Hult. And literally, I was sitting there after having a very successful career in investment banking. It was March 14th, 2008. And I'm literally looking at the stock screen, and the Dow Jones was trading at 6,300 and some change. For those of you that follow the market now, that's 1/3 of where it is today. I literally put in a phone call and had to lay off 25 of my staff as my partners made their way overseas. It was that point in my life that, as the son of a Palestinian immigrant to this country with nothing, I always thought that my objective in life was to do no more than make money. It wasn't because I was a greedy person. It was because we live in a capitalistic society that measures success really by dollars and cents made. And again, keep in mind this is 2008, 2009. And while I knew that there was poor people in the world and that we should do our best to give to charity, I also understood that if I wanted to make mom and dad proud, immigrants who came to this country with nothing, literally my dad's luggage got stolen on his way from the airport from JFK. They stopped in to get something to eat and their luggage was stolen from the car. So my objective in life, pound the pavement, make as much money as possible, as fast as possible, because that's what society told me was a definition of success. But what I later found in this moment in 2008 was that the market collapsed and I had nothing. Literally, I re-questioned everything I ever knew about what it was to be successful. And can you cut these lights a little bit? Can you guys see this? So, thank you. So this is my pursuit map, and everything we're going to take you guys through today has been developed specifically here at Hult Prize. And for me, right, life is very simple. Everybody in this room is likely pursuing one of 3 things, maybe 4. Either you're in it to make money, which is okay, no issues, everybody has bills, or you're under the impression that the pursuit of fame and status is what's it. So everybody, those of you that are the ones that are nodding, you compete for Facebook likes, social status updates, you know, your dream is to go take a picture on the red carpet, etc. That's okay, that's fine, right? And you're pursuing that, right? Others will pursue pedigrees. How many of you have an MD? You don't raise your hand. Just think about it. And are here doing your MBA. This might be your 3rd master's. You're doing extension school at Harvard. You think it's the most amazing thing on the planet, right? So those of you who are pursuing pedigree, and you believe in your life pursuit that once you accomplish one of those 3 things, income, fame, pedigree, that you've made it. But as you continue to accomplish and take those things off your list, you quickly find that you're a little bit empty, you're a little bit disappointed when you make it. Eventually, you go towards spirituality, right? Connecting with the Creator, connecting with the world, right? I see some Neds bobbing, which is good. It means you've made it in all the other pursuits. But even once you get there and you reach that kind of moment of enlightenment in your own life, you still feel a little bit empty, right? And that's where I was in 2009. And I wasn't sure what more was. I just knew I wanted something else. I was still empty. So we feel like we cracked the code of the Hult Prize. These are just some of the awards and articles that we've appeared in. But what was it? I believe we've been successful. People ask me, what's the special sauce? What's the secret to the success of the Hult Prize? And I tell them it's very simple. We unlocked the code because we developed the pursuit of impact. We've given every single student in the world, obviously you guys here at Hult, first and foremost, the opportunity to have a platform to take a chance, to take a leap. a leap to something that we believe can not only inspire you, but inspire an entire generation. A generation of leaders that, similar to myself in 2009, somebody who didn't even know that you could do well while doing good. We wanted to bring you guys, an entire generation, to that same moment in time where the pursuit of impact was real. The question is how? In 6 quick years, we've become the #1 platform for doing so in the world. Again, not really, I mean, we've worked hard, but before us, there was nothing out there like the Hult Prize. Again, I'm going to speed through some of these things. The aha moment for me, I'm just going to share one story for you. Literally, you guys want to hear the Hult Prize story? Let me take a time out, because we got limited time. I can go one of 2 routes at this point. I can give you the story of the Hult Prize and the inspiration, or I can fast forward a couple of slides and go technical into social enterprise, what is it, how it will change your life, etc., etc. So those of you who want the story of the Hult Prize, raise your hand. Oh man, both. I wish we could do both. I'll have to come back to do the next one. Okay, I'll give you the story. And the best thing about this story is that Hult is right at the epicenter of it, not just in terms of I did my MBA here, but in the Hult student body. So I'm sitting down on the 5th floor. I'm in the classroom. I don't know, there's still only 2 classrooms down there, right? And I'm in class. I have my headphones on, and this guy walks through the door. Chuck Kane was filling in. He had just sold his company for a couple $100 million right here in Boston to EMC, and he had taken over at a company called One Laptop Per Child. And he comes into class, and he's pitching on this idea of selling a product or service to the poor to break the cycle of poverty. Okay? And this company was called One Laptop Per Child. Have you guys all heard of OLPC? Back in those days, 2009, I talk about it today like it was a decade ago, only a few years ago. The idea of a $100 computer was outrageous. The next closest laptop on the market was about $2,500, and here comes the CEO of a company, started right over here at the MIT Media Lab, and he said, through the sale of a product, we're going to eliminate poverty around the world. For me and all of my classmates at the time, that was an unbelievable, concept. In fact, we didn't believe him. And as Chuck began to share his story, my classmate Nicole raised her hand, and Chuck was telling us all about a deployment of one of the laptops in Kibera. How many of you know where Kibera is? Handful. If you guys want to get good at Hult Prize, figure out where Kibera is. So one of my classmates had actually grown up next to one of the deployment zones in Kibera. She raised her hand, and she said, very sweet girl, had literally just, again, this was 2 weeks in the class, first time in the US. She's sitting in a classroom, and those of you that know anything about university in Africa, you don't really tell a professor or guest lecturer that they're wrong in anything. So she quietly says to Chuck, or Professor Kane, I don't really think that the story is that correct. And Chuck kind of takes a step back. This is a CEO who's been advocating, on behalf of OLPC around the world, talking to university students. And he said, excuse me? And she said, well, I think that you left out, you missed a couple really key details. And he said, well, how do you know? And she said, well, I grew up in the village next door to the deployment. And for me, I kind of had headphones on. I wasn't really paying attention that much because the class was labeled as nonprofit marketing. I didn't care. I knew I wanted more. I didn't think social impact yet was what the more was. So Chuck takes a step back, and he says, this is probably 60 people in the class. He said, this is the first time I've ever heard somebody in an MBA class say that they've been in a deployment zone of OLPC. And he said, how many of you have similar experiences as Nicole? One hand goes up, another goes up. 3 people in my class. Imagine, this was somebody who'd gone all over the world, and never once was there a student who had had an experience like the experience that OLPC was delivering on the ground. So now I'm starting to really feel the value of where these students are coming from, on the ground knowledge. And then Chuck says the words that led to the inspiration of the Hult Prize. He said, unbelievable. If I had more people like you working on our problems and the issue of blending doing good with doing well, at OLPC we'd be able to solve all the problems of the education space worldwide. And, you know, like ding, ding, ding for me was, oh, this is so easy. If I just brought together Hult students, we could accomplish this, because I knew if there was 3 in my class, there was another 3 in the other class. And then that's not counting Dubai, that's not counting London, that's not counting Shanghai. So we went forward. And in year 1, that little baby of an idea where I thought it would just be Hult students began a movement that today, looking back, I could not believe or ever imagine. It's very simple. People doing MBAs go network with other MBAs. And in those conversations, you ask yourself, what are, you know, hey, ring, ring, buddy, buddy, what are you doing at MBA that's so fun? Or what are you doing at university, going back to grad school? And he says, well, I'm doing this class, I'm interning at Goldman Sachs. And then, you know, our conversations at Hult were, oh, we're doing this really cool thing, trying to create for-profit businesses to help OLPC. And it resonated somehow because, again, remember the timing. 2009 was the worst financial crisis in modern financial history. Next to the Great Depression, it's the worst financial era of our century. And this was not just being faced here in the United States, it was a global phenomenon. So literally this first year, we had 300 people show up to Boston and approximately 600 or 700 more show up at our campuses around the world. We had hosted the first Hult Prize. And it was from there that people say, well, you know, how did you get the event off the ground? This is our consulting club from 2009. Every single one of these people, and again, another 50 or so not pictured, picked up the phone, reached into their home countries, called their dads, their brothers, their cousins, and every single person they knew. We issued letters to the universities on the ground from literally places. Imagine if I asked all you guys today to call your undergraduate universities, to call home, and I gave you a letter. See, we're all about toolkits. Probably Professor Grandetti will talk to you about shortcutting entrepreneurship and creating toolkits, right, to accelerate. And overnight, we had flooded the marketplace. Every university, because Hult students, how many countries you guys come from? At least 100, probably here. Every single place that you came from would receive a letter to say, we're changing the world, here's how we're doing it, come and join us. So, this is Aspire Food Group. This is a very important, how am I doing on time? How many more minutes? Okay. I like to keep the schedule. I don't want to take away from your schmoozing time. Schmoozing is important. So then, okay, we did the Hult Prize. We started giving away $1 million. But where did the $1 million come from? And I don't know if I have time for all the stories, but I have Roberta Hult and the President Clinton story. Maybe we'll talk about those during networking. But after I finished my MBA, I had to make a choice. I got a phone call from Berta Hult. Berta Hult is the benefactor of Hult Business School, and he's a billionaire entrepreneur. He called and he said, pack 3 days worth of clothes, show up to an airport, and meet me in Lucerne, Switzerland, where he lives. And during those 3 days, I pitched what would later become the idea of Hult Prize. But what was more important than getting the funding and getting the $1 million was what we did when we came back from that epic meeting in Lucerne, Switzerland. We put 3 names on the board. And we said, we've got funding for a great event. We've got $1 million prize. What do we need now? We need an advocate. We need somebody phenomenal who is endorsing our program. We put 3 names on the board. One was Muhammad Yunus, of course, the father of microfinance, the social entrepreneur. The other was Nelson